Man of the year, man of the year, man of the year. Welcome to the number one friendship podcast in the country. I'm Aaron Cairo.
I'm Matt Ritter.
And remember, go to manoftheyearpodcast.com to grab merch and watch our videos on YouTube. Matt, I want to read you the headline of this Wall Street Journal article that's been going around. And it's called "The Loneliness of the American Worker, More Meetings and Faceless Chats, Fewer Work Friends, How the Modern Workday is Fueling an Epidemic of Isolation." First of all, God, what a depressing.
I got it. By the way, how many people sent it to you? I got eight separate versions of that sent to me.
I do get every article that's ever been released about loneliness and friendship, which I guess is a good thing.
Yeah, it's great. No, I mean, I love that people send it to us. That tells us, they're engaged and thinking about friendship. I don't think it's just about us. I think that's something that they're thinking about, but it's also nice that they're thinking about us.
Yeah.
But yeah, boy, that one flooded my inbox.
Yeah. So the workplace seems real bleak these days. Now, of course, as friendship experts, we are qualified to talk about this, but also neither of us have had jobs in a couple decades. So what's your initial thoughts?
Well, I wanted to read a couple of the quotes from the article just to give some color to the statistics.
Yeah.
Now, listen to this and tell me we don't have a major problem.
Okay.
More than 40% of fully remote workers polled in 2023 survey of working parents say they go days without leaving the house. Days. People, we have a problem. We need to sound the alarm, and I blame all of us. If you have a friend, if you have a partner, if you know somebody who works remotely and hasn't left the house in days, that is on all of us.
I don't mind it.
I know you don't.
Matt just gave me a look of like, how dare you? No, obviously.
You are the outlier. That is not healthy. You know it's not healthy.
I know.
In fact, I heard you got out of the house the other day.
What'd you say?
I heard you were out of the house the other day.
I was out of the house. Yeah. But what about, okay, let's go back to the previous world where people were in the office. You think going to the office and back and that was it? That's better?
Yes. I've come like fully around on this. Just not just doing the pod, just talking to people. I kind of feel like you and I do these informal polls to like take the pulse of this country, and remote working is not working. Full remote is not working. I want to say that again. Full remote is not working.
Unless we need to reconceive what working remotely means, because you had you were kind of ahead of the curve as far as going at WeWork, getting out of the house. No real reason why you can't leave the house and take a walk if you're a remote worker.
Yeah, I agree. But I just think having it built in, again, we want to build processes that make your social fitness better, that you don't have to always think about, right? Like just set it and forget it, right? When you had a workplace, you go in, there are other people around. There's an energy, there's a life force. There's something that tells you, oh my God, I'm not so alone. And you don't have that like dread feeling, that loneliness pangs that I get in the afternoon when I'm alone and there's nobody around. Like my wife's out of town now and my son's with the nanny. And like, there's going to come a point in the afternoon where I'm just going to feel like, man, I'm alone. But you're right. I can go get a coffee walk. And I've tried to institute that. I try to institute coffee meetings. So I'm not just going there and the only person I see is the person who works at the coffee shop.
By the way, I just want to say, I do agree with you. We need more IRL contact, and being in the office with people that hopefully you like is healthy. I'm going to do one more devil's advocate. Did I say devil's advocate? Devil's advocate. The pre-pandemic model of working, which some of us, you're commuting maybe an hour, maybe more, that's time just destroyed. And so if you working from home, I'm just saying there's trade-offs is what I would like us to think about.
Let's go deeper.
Okay.
I've been thinking a lot about this for this episode. This trade-off of time for camaraderie and social health. On the whole, there were a lot of benefits, but now we're seeing that we went too far, is what I think. I think we just actually need to reframe it, because this wasn't the worker's choice. This whole thing was all the employer's choice, and the employers unilaterally, for the most part, I don't want to say everybody,
Right.
decided what work-life balance was. They've always sort of had control over what your work-life balance is, but what your workspace looked like. I'll give you an example. Somebody I know had an office pre-pandemic in LA, went in every day. The policy wasn't that you had to go in every day, but went in every day, like the camaraderie. Then COVID happened. Everybody was working from home. People realized what you said. Oh my God, I'm saving an hour each way. I'm just as productive. All was well. COVID ended. Oh, I like this. I've got a kid. This is working out. Maybe I just want to go in once or twice a week. No. The company got rid of the office. They don't want to pay for the lease. Tell me why every company decided that was okay without consulting with their employees and are now finding out that doesn't work for their employees.
Well, I mean, again, an extreme example. And if you recall from the past 2 years, companies were begging their employees to come back and they wouldn't come back. So it kind of cuts both ways.
So I agree. I agree with that.
I think our friend Smiley Poswalski, who we had on a few months ago, he basically, he's all about hybrid. I think you would agree. Couple days in, if you got to make that hour commute, okay, once or twice a week to see your buddies and get a friendship blood sugar boost.
So I think it's more than that. I think it has to be 3 days a week minimum for this to work.
Do you want to mention what our friend and hopefully newfound mentor Jim McCann is in the article? He's the founder and CEO of 1-800-Flowers. He's in this Wall Street Journal article. And Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, they went from 3 to 4.
Yeah, he said work is social. It's a lot more than a paycheck. And he's been tapping workers to serve as designated hosts during lunchtime, encouraging people to sit with colleagues they don't know in common areas and chat, suggesting conversation topics. What do you think about all that?
Well, we love a suggestion of a conversation topics. Listen, I mean, Jim is much smarter than either of us. My brain, and me, goes, well, some people, maybe it is a paycheck.
Yep. But that's not really relevant to what the company's trying to foster.
Again, for our buddy Jim, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. The company's trying to make money.
Some companies think of their business just to bottom line, sure.
And I'm just taking an extreme example. If you think, and by the way, Smiley and Jim agree that coworkers who have a nice environment are more productive, then you'll do it.
Netflix seems to think that they have like all the bells and whistles and free lunches and all that stuff.
Yeah, but so does a million, Google and every other
Google,
company.
all these a lot of the top companies. Although Amazon seems to have all these stories about who knows,
Amazon's like forage for your meals and come in.
Who knows? Yeah. No, we love you, Amazon. We love Amazon.
Google. Yeah, we love Amazon. Of course. Thank you, Amazon. The reason why Google has free lunch, I think they've cut it back, is to keep you in the office.
Maybe. Right. Look, I agree. Look, productivity.
Now, why am I such a doomsayer today?
No, but you're right. Look, productivity is the number one. But I think a lot of companies are also realizing productivity and wellness are tied together. Blah, blah, blah. You hear corporate wellness and it sounds like corporate jargon, but it isn't. I want to go back to this, IRL versus like working from home. I just want to say that it's not just the company's fault. I agree with you. I want to backtrack and say, I think a lot of people thought the remedy was, oh my God, I get to work from home every day. we've solved it.
Right.
But we realize that's not the answer either.
I mean, do you really know several anybody else besides just one example of people who are remote who go, oh, I just really want to go to the office, but they won't let me? Haven't heard anybody say that.
No, not they won't let me. They don't have an office anymore. Yes, of course. I know tons of people.
Who
Tons of
really
people
want to be
who would like to come in a couple of days a week.
right. Yeah. But I mean, I guess my other question is that, I mean, if the paradigm has been exploded. Can you
Yeah.
buy an office and it's only half full or only people there are Tuesdays? It doesn't really
No,
seem
I mean, I think that's the big problem too. I think there's just a discrepancy between the finances of leasing a corporate office space. And so then people have tried to rent smaller spaces and have people alternate. But I think that doesn't work either. I think they all have to be there. If you go in twice a week and nobody's there, and then like, what's the point of that?
Yeah, I do like a designated day where everybody's in.
Yeah. I think it should be 3 days a week.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday feels right.
Also, how about this? I agree. It's got to be Tuesday through Thursday. This is another stat. Those who work in office spend nearly a quarter of their time in virtual meetings, while face-to-face meetings account only for 8% of their time. So they have 3 times as many virtual as face-to-face, which I actually thought would have been even worse at this point. But if you're going to go in, it should be when those meetings are happening, no?
I mean, it's hard to tell. Those meetings could be with external people who wouldn't be.
I know, but imagine you go in and all you do all day is Zoom meetings with people who are at home.
Well, let me ask you this. In our business, we used to have meetings all the time. I've had 3 IRL meetings in the past 4 years. That's gone. It's over.
You think?
It's never coming back. To drive to Burbank and spend your entire, day for one meeting, like it just doesn't make any sense.
You know I miss it. What's wrong with me?
Yeah. I mean, every once in a while, to your point, it's nice.
Well,
It's
I think
nice.
I shine in person too, like when I'm pitching.
Yeah, 100%. But I don't know. Maybe this is just it's possible the way the world worked before was broken.
I agree. I think it was broken. The commuting 5 days a week when you had family and quality time you were missing and breakfast you're missing or whatever with your loved ones too, and just no personal time doesn't work either. I'm just saying, I think it was it was a bit of a rug pull, and now we're kind of in this amorphous zone of like, we don't know what's next. So what do we think is the right answer for social fitness? How do we resolve this?
And yeah, I'm just going to be another doomsayer. There was also pre-pandemic people who, hated their office, hated their coworker, hated their boss, right, and they didn't want to be around them. But I do agree. Let's be honest. Like,
yeah, one of the guys in the article said it makes it harder to go in and give it your all if you don't feel like anyone is there rooting for you.
Right. To be a cog in the system, man.
Imagine just starting in the workplace now.
Yes. Was that you? Someone was talking to me about, like, if you start in the past few years, you've never been in an office.
Yeah, I've met a lot of people who are like, yeah, I took this job and then the pandemic happened or something. And then again, it's remote. So I've never really met any of my coworkers. It's like,
oh, I know. It was actually in the pod. We were giving advice. It was our pod about new graduates.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you moved to a new city. You just graduated college. You don't have any friends. And now to your point, you're never going to meet these people.
It's crazy. I don't know. It's missing a big part of your life, your work life. I don't know. I like having work friends. Hey, we're working together. I like it. I like working with a friend,
I know. And listen, what do I always complain about? We're doing.
So we're not out in real. We're gonna get back. By the way, we are gonna get back into studio. Everybody, we've both just had a lot going on, but that's in the works. Should we get? This is such a good listener question. It's a little off topic, but I just know.
Okay, let me tee it up. We'll be right back. All right, guys, this is asking for a friend. If you have a friendship question or ethical dilemma, send it to us on Instagram, Man of the Year Podcast, and we will answer on the show. Matt, take it away.
So a friend asked me this in person. He was like, he and his wife were over for dinner, and he's like, she's been waiting to ask you guys this. And I was like, can I use it for the pod? They're like, use it for the pod. Don't give our names.
Okay.
So they have been going to this vacation house in San Diego for 5 years with their kid, and over July 4th, I think they said. And it is a friend's house who lives in the Midwest, and just it's like a second home for them, and has always been letting them use the house. And sadly, she passed away. So over the years, they've grown to love the house. And the first year, they had their daughter write like a nice handwritten cartoonish like thank you note.
Mhm.
And she immediately called them and she said, never send thank you notes here. My husband doesn't know that you guys stay here, and he just doesn't really like me letting guests stay at the house.
Okay.
So she's passed away. They're older, this friend.
Yeah.
So they're like, we want to keep going to the house. How do we propose it to the husband that we're not as close with, who doesn't even know that we were there? Now we have to disclose. If we want to do this, like we have to now disclose that we've been staying at this house, and that may like set him off.
Were they paying?
No.
And did they Airbnb it? It's just like their second home, and they go sometimes.
Sounds like they never
Got
have
it.
anyone stay there. She was like,
Well, first
he
thought
doesn't
is,
like people staying there, but they live in the Midwest. As it so stays empty half the year.
I mean, first thought, I'm sure they have the keys by now. Just keep going anyway.
Tara, this is my first question. I go, what's the security like at the house?
Right. Is there a video camera?
I said, what's the security sitch? Ooh, I mean, what a doozy, huh? By the way, they said a year has passed. They also mentioned that somebody else said something about the house at the funeral, and the guy was livid.
I kind of respect this guy.
Oh,
because
Kira, you're the kind of guy, if you had a second home, nobody stays there, even if it's been untouched for 360 days. You go 5 days a year to your house in Cannes, and you have a friend who moved to Europe and like is traveling to France, and they just are like, so what's up with your house? You have nothing? They're like,
You're not
so
wrong.
can we
Listen,
stay there?
you're
You're
not
like, yeah, I don't really, I just prefer not to.
Yeah, because people don't take good care of other people's houses. That's the problem. So you're so right, by the way. And I'm sure Christina is gonna listen to this and mention her house in San Diego.
Oh yeah, have you ever stayed at her house when she's not there?
I have. I stayed by myself. I think I slept on the couch. She charged me $150 for the cleaning lady. You know, basically she's
Wow.
got a free clean.
Charges you a cleaning fee, Christina?
Yeah.
Charges you a cleaning fee.
And I
One of our oldest friends.
No, and because she's our biggest fan, I respect that because people come and stay, but like,
right, it shouldn't have to cost her anything. I agree with that.
Absolutely. But like, families come and run ramshot over the whole apartment.
Ramshot? Roughshod?
Roughshod.
Ramshot. That sounds like.
So this was a little, but it was fine and it was wonderful and I appreciate it. But this guy, why I appreciate this guy? You know why? Because he's consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I like a man or a woman who's consistent. He didn't like it then. He didn't like it now. She died. She's alive. I don't like it. You know, like I like him getting mad at the funeral.
Okay.
Now,
well, first of all, that's just like so unseemly to mention the vacation rental at her funeral.
Well, my interpretation was that he did the person was like, I had such a cradle of memories of this house. Thank you for that. And he was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
I mean, I don't know that you have much option but to try to talk to this guy.
Right. Well, obviously it's the how. But first of all, doesn't it feel like you're like telling this guy that his wife was having affairs to him, right? That's like,
I mean,
it's like another woman. It's like another woman. It's like another man showing up at the funeral.
Right.
You know those movies where there are like 4 other mistresses show up at the funeral?
yes.
There's like
Yeah.
4 other tenants show up. All these tenants. Hey, how did you know Sue? Oh, from the vacation house. How else? How'd you know her? Oh, yeah. Oh, what an Airbnb.
Could you offer to pay? That's fraud.
But then why would you even do it? Oh, you're saying just make the offer.
You're saying it's not worth it if it's not free.
Yeah, I think that's why they go.
Right.
Here's what I said to them. Tell me what you think. So they have an 11-year-old daughter. I said 2 things. I said, first off, you got to use the daughter. You got to say, look, I don't know if you know, we've been staying at the house the past few years. We're so grateful. We're so grateful.
Yeah.
Our daughter really has all these amazing fond memories of it. And we love to keep up that tradition because it makes us feel connected to you and her. And we love to keep that bond tight with you guys. So that's the first part. What do you think about that?
I mean, love the sentiment. I feel like it's, this from what we know about this guy, like, I don't give a shit.
Right. Right. This is a very Caro-esque guy.
This guy is basically me.
Right. This is why I was like, I can't wait to ask Caro this question. So, okay. So does that do anything for you?
That doesn't do anything for me.
Doesn't get you any
more. It actually makes me more angry.
Really?
Like, I didn't give you permission.
Right. But do you also feel that it's like too transparent, or do you feel that's at least nice?
I mean, again, from this guy's point of view, he's like, I never said you could stay there in the first place, so I don't care what you did there.
Okay. Potentially, he's just going to get mad and blow it up, right? So we're just trying to figure out ways around
it. Yeah, totally.
2, I said, you could say, look, I know you live in the Midwest. We're right there because they live in LA. We're happy to, while we're there, we were always checking on things, and we're always, making sure the upkeep is there. Like, we're always happy to do that, just so you know. That's something like, just make it like you're offering something of value to him.
It's hard to tell. Like, what did he think was happening? Who was upkeeping it normally?
I know.
Yeah.
It's a real tricky. It's a real doozy.
The problem is that you have to basically
trying to get Caro to say yes to letting you stay at his house where you were secretly staying for 5 years.
I know that's a problem because you're caught in a lie, basically. So my question is
not a lie, because you don't know whether he knew or not.
Right, but clearly he didn't. It was against his wishes.
You don't know that in his mind. You don't know that.
But why did the woman when she was alive say don't send the thing here anymore?
Right. No, but he doesn't know that you don't. He doesn't know that you know that.
He doesn't know that you know that it's against his.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, if you say
you can play a little dumb.
That's what I'm saying. You have to play dumb.
Oh, I see. So pretend you didn't know that he's going to be ornery or that he didn't.
By the way, this was the second option that everybody hated. Just thought it was the stupidest thing. You just come in hot and just go, by the way, we'll be there July 1st to the 5th. Just a heads up. Let me know if you need anything while we're there.
I don't hate it.
Oh,
I don't hate it because now you're meeting, crazy on crazy, and you can respect that.
That's what I said. I said, you got a Jedi mind. Screw this thing. Oh, by the way, we're on our way. By the way, you could just call on July 1st. By the way, we'll be at your place in an hour. Let me know if you need me to check on anything. We'll get your mail.
No. We're here.
Oh, we're inside.
We're here. We come every year. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for letting us come every year. That's so generous of you guys. Like,
so you're going my way, but you're taking it. You're escalating.
Lisa was always so, and you and Lisa were always so generous. We're here right now. Like, is there anything else you want us to do?
We got to, by the way, we have to do, this is perfect for the audience poll, for the listener poll. We have to do a listener poll. Guys, will you message us if you like option A, which is, saying, hey, we love it. It's for our kid, for tradition. We're happy to help out in the house. Or option B, the escalatory. Yeah, we're here. This is what we do. Deal with it.
I mean, but theoretically, if you play dumb, I mean, I hate lying and I'm not a very good liar, but if you play dumb on option B, theoretically, if you actually thought that you were welcome there, that's what you would do.
Right. Right.
I mean, I guess the woman passed away. No person would just show up at a vacation house after the person passed away.
That they were close to and not to the husband.
Right.
What a doozy. I hope this gets back to him somehow.
Yeah, I'd like to know what Christina thinks. I actually like to know what Karen thinks.
I'd like to know vacation owners. If any vacation home owners are listening, we'd love to get their take on it too.
Another thing to think about is, I thought of a Ritter-esque. No, just a thought. The only information we have about the husband's thoughts is via the late wife. She could have been lying. She could have been white lying. She could have had another agenda. He could love to have people there.
Right. Well, that's why I wanted to butter up the tradition thing, because open up to the idea that maybe that resonates with him.
I mean, that just feels like right off the gate seems that's like this. That's my part B if he doesn't go crazy.
I guess option C is offering money,
Yes. Or paying for an actual vacation home like a normal.
Yeah, the option D is just forget it and move on with your life. That's over.
It is tough once you have a hookup and the hookup goes away.
I know. Everybody loves a good hookup, man. You're like poo-pooing it, but once you have a hookup that's 5 years in, you feel like you've been grandfathered in.
Yeah, no, I'm not poo-pooing. I'd be living there. I'd be squatting in there.
Yeah. You know what I think is hard? When hookups go sour, when somebody passes away, and then the next generation, one person actually owns it. And it's not like shared by the siblings or cousins or whatever, the way it seemed when it was the previous generation. I know some friends and family that have had that happen.
I also think that it is your prerogative. You have now inherited something solely that you can do whatever you want with it.
I agree, but don't you think that comes up a lot? We could talk about that on a future episode, but I feel like I know people where that happens.
Where it went from a hookup and then it's like
it went from a hookup to now it's that person's child or whatever, it's theirs. So now you're not part of that equally.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, did we answer it? I mean, it wasn't like, hey, we have to answer. We just threw out some options.
No, I think we answered. Yeah.
I'll tell you what they end up doing, by the way. I told them
I need to know what they ended up doing.
So we'll talk about that in a few weeks on the pod when they, well, I guess, yeah. Yeah.
All right. That was asking for a friend. If you have a friendship question, send it to us on Instagram and we'll answer on the show. All right. Anything else work related? This loneliness, isolation epidemics, worse than the loneliness epidemic.
Yeah. I just think we all know we need to get in IRL more. And I think employers are realizing, well, multiple reasons, lease payments, work productivity, but just social fitness, your social health. We're worried about your mental health, your social health, your physical health. It all is connected. And you just can't go days without seeing another person.
Yeah, you gotta leave the house. You gotta touch some grass.
Yeah, touch some grass.
And also, I think the employees need to be vocal. Like you have a voice in this.
Yeah, yeah. But I also just think as a, hey, where are we with things? I think we haven't figured it out yet. What wasn't working wasn't working. What is now isn't working. The hybrid doesn't mean anything. Hybrid is just an amorphous term. We need to put some stakes in the ground and say, hey, these are some things that most workers need. And part of that is some level of IRL interaction. I don't care what your company is.
Right. It's the workers are people,
Yeah.
So we're finding the balance between just optimizing productivity and just like nurturing. Listen, people who are happy are going to be better employees. It's all one of the same.
Yeah.
All right. What did we learn today? Or was that what we learned?
Unless there's other stuff that we learned. I mean, we definitely learned some funny stuff about attitudes towards vacation homes. Cairo, you're never going to get to stay at Cairo's vacation rental. Just know that. If any of his buddies are listening.
We'll see. It depends. Something like when I leave a place, I left it as I came, like the Grand Canyon.
Cairo. Be honest, the level of person's analness to be able to get the green light from you, who is that?
I think
there are probably a couple. There are probably a couple of friends.
But also, like, why do I have to have such a low bar for everybody else?
It's not a low bar. No, by the way, how about this? I agree with you. How about this? Let's wipe away your bar, anybody's bar.
Yeah.
I like what Christina's doing. Just pay the $150 cleaning fee. That should just be, why don't we just institute that as a friend policy? From now on, you stay at a friend's place, you pay the cleaning fee, done deal.
I think what's also smart about that is that, like, it gives you some skin in the game.
Yep.
If you're just staying at a friend's place for free, it's like whatever.
Yep. Well, what do you think about that now? Now we're saying you can stay at Cairo's whenever.
Well, yeah. I mean, it depends. I think it's also like, do they have kids? Like, are they going to tear their place apart?
Oh God, Cairo's got a no kid policy.
Another algorithm, guys. All right. Well,
Cairo's Airbnb. There is no kid policy on Airbnb, Cairo. You can't.
Can you do that?
No, you can't do no kids.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Listen,
maybe you can. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's an idea. All right, guys. Thank you guys for listening, and also let us know, like, what is your workplace situation? Are you back to hybrid? Are you back in person? Are you totally virtual? Like, are you miserable? Are you happy? We want to know. Always remember, be good to yourself, be good to your friends.
Love you, buddy.